Logic Gaming. I'm Joe, and this
And
is
I'm
Don.
Don.
You're Don?
I can talk for myself.
Okay, so sorry.
You just talk for me the whole video, and
No, it'd get
I'll
very
smile
boring.
and nod.
We thought it'd be fun to come on and do a tier ranking video again. We did the Rebel one a while ago.
We did. And then we got a bunch of points changes.
Yeah, we did. So the Empire one's perfect time for that one, and we figured this time I'm going to show you the tier video as we're doing it instead of just talking about it.
Because people like to see things.
If you're listening on the podcast, you can just hear, but if you're watching on YouTube, you get to see everything.
Yay!
So let's just jump right into it. We're just going to go in order of all these little things. We're going to go randomly. We're not going to stick with cores and everything else. I just kind of want to shoot around.
Just going for the easy stuff. Gotcha.
Let's start with the Stormtrooper, though. I think this one's going to be... This is like the staple first core unit. Where are we going to put it? You're the Empire player. I'm going to let you kind of weigh in first.
So, I guess people have confused... What are we? What was our S to D
define
score?
It. S is
it
broken.
Is it in their? Is it like, are they the best core, or is it the best unit for the Empire? Because that kind of makes a difference.
It does.
Stormtroopers as a core unit, fantastic for the Empire.
Yep.
Stormtroopers as a unit in the Empire, not necessarily the best.
So in my mind, it is against the whole faction, with minds that this is a core unit.
Right.
So you have to give it some weight in that. It is a core unit. It's not going to be better than Darth Vader, but you can take 6 of them, and you can only take 1 Vader. So does that sway it? Also, S tier is if something's beyond good, it's busted, it's very, very top tier, nothing ranks that. D is your bottom tier. This is below average, it's not doing well. It's fun in fun games, maybe not even fun in some fun games, but it's not a great unit. I would say C, a C tier, is like an average. It's just like in school, right? C's get degrees. C, it's an average. It's an average.
Yes, we all know
unit.
what Joe got his grades in.
I just want to. As an A student, thank you.
Yeah,
once I got to college, at least. But C's is average. Just to really some people got really angry at some of the people I put in C's. That's average. B, like at school, would be above average in my mind. B means you're better. You're better than average. You're hitting pretty good. You're not the best, pretty good. A is like top tier units that aren't broken. These are like the best the faction has to offer that's not like overly busted. The best example of that in the last video was like before the points update, sleepers were like that S tier just for their cost and their alpha strike. Yes, they died easy. I'm not saying they're the best in everything, but for their points they were a bit strong. Arcs, and when 2.6 first launched before their first of 4-point increases, were another perfect example of an S tier.
I think they still probably live in the S tier.
Going all the way back, if you're an old Legion player, to like when Rex first came out with the Rex Ball.
Yeah.
That was S tier, right? So those are some examples.
All right.
So with that said, are we saying they're average, somewhere above average, or below average? Where do you put Stormtroopers?
I'm putting them in the highest possible slot in B, I think.
Okay, I like it. I was going to say B tier, so I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think it's easy. I think they're a core unit. They have red saves. They're fairly cheap. They're 42? Is that right? 44?
44, I think.
44 points.
It's very flexible with their heavy heavy additions.
They have a lot of heavy options. They got that great precise keyword.
Right. You have to bring 3 core, so generally, I mean, to run an Imperial list without at least 1 Stormtrooper is extremely rare. So I think Stormtroopers live happily in the B tier.
The B tier.
Top of the B tier, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I said we were gonna stick it and jump around, but maybe we'll stick with cores for a second, just because I want to get to Riot Troopers early. So Riot Troopers.
Riot Troopers.
I think before the points update and card update, they lived in the D tier.
Oh, they were happily living in the D tier.
Yeah, I think they just did. They were in the D tier, and it's fine. But now with a significant point decrease, if you count their base and their KX, they got a huge point decrease. And a new card that's really good on them called Imperial March, which is good on other things of the faction, but really shows off them because in that speed 3 for their second turn, and they already have charge. So they don't even have to get rid of the card. They can use the card again later if they live. So where do we live? Let's start with, are they better than a basic Stormtrooper?
I don't think they are, because they're still very expensive. They're still kind of niche. They don't have that surge to hit without being in melee. But I still would put them. I'm gonna imagine they're gonna live in the very bottom of D tier now.
B tier?
Of B tier. I'm sorry, B tier, because the Empire has lost most of its melee grunt.
Yes, I think if we're looking at it in the lens of a range unit, they'd be D still, right? They're white dice, non-surging garbage, like B1 droids.
But because they fill out the cheaper, I mean, they're still fairly expensive when you give them the KX droids and I think they're like 60-ish.
They're not too bad.
It's not too bad, but they're the only real melee threat that's not a character. It's not Vader or Inquisitors or a Dewback.
And they're red surging defense dice in melee, which is very good.
They can be livable. So I think they're going to live probably in the bottom end of B tier.
Okay, we can we'll start there. We'll see where they go. I was going to say upper C, but we'll put them in B and see where we go.
We'll see where they float.
Okay. So now we're just going to jump around a little bit, I think. What's this one? Is this snow, actually? Let's just go snow. So I was going to pull it anyways. Snowtroopers are interesting because Imperial March also really helped them because
it does help them. I haven't gotten to test it out yet, but I think it's going to be really nice.
With steady, you don't really need to burn it for charge unless you want to move into someone, and now they have a charge ability, so they kind of have Relentless for a turn.
Yeah.
And they have a flamethrower, and going from a speed 1 to a speed 3 is a huge increase for them.
Well, it's not speed 3, it's speed 2.
Oh, sorry, speed 2.
Increased
by 1. You're right.
Yeah.
But it gives them a nice boost. So I'm thinking above the Riots, but below the Stormtroopers is where I want to put them. Would you agree with that? Or do you think they need to go below the Riot Troopers or somewhere deeper?
See, I don't know, because the problem with, even with the Imperial March, they're still going to be moving speed 1 most of the time. The steady really helps them in being able to double move.
But will they? Because if you don't pop charge, every turn they can do a speed 1, speed 2, right?
No, you have to recover Imperial March.
Oh, I didn't think it was tap.
I'll have to look at the card again. I don't remember if it's tap.
We'll pull it up while we're talking.
Why not?
Okay, we'll meet somewhere in the middle. I think they're better than a Riot though with the utility because they have a 3 gun as well, and they got steady built in so they can move. They're a little slow for ABS, right? For always be scoring.
Oh no, you don't tap it.
No, I didn't think it was a tap, so they can always move 1, 2.
Yeah.
So that's why I think I want to put them somewhere in the middle because every turn with steady they can go speed 1, speed 2, shoot, speed 1, speed 2, shoot if they need to, so they can move now.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think I'm going to put him there. Like I said, this isn't the final. We always go at the end. We'll go back and kind of reevaluate it. What other kind of cores do we have? Let's just stick with the core. I'm feeling like it's good.
I was going to say, we got a mortar and a short trooper.
The mortar I'm going to put somewhere down here. Where are you going?
It does live somewhere down there. I mean, especially with the new rules and slow moving, prepared positions.
They got a bigger base.
They have a bigger base, so they can move, but 3 dice suppressive at range, but they can't shoot at range 2.
Where you want to live, kind of?
You can't really... Until we get more objectives with back point scoring, I don't really want to throw them in D tier because they are cheap.
Okay, so we're going to say somewhere in C for now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll agree with that. I'll agree somewhere with C. Okay. There's a short trooper down here somewhere, but I'm not seeing it right now. So we're going to jump to something else.
Let's see.
Unless you see it. We're going to... As we're talking, I'm going to grab the ATST because I like this one. So where does this ATST live?
Oh man, ATST's it's A.
I think it's A.
So.
I think it's one of the better vehicles. No,
it's not broken.
Not S.
But it is just solid.
And right now, there's nothing else in A, so we're just gonna put it in A. But it's definitely not the top A of the Empire. But I think it is A. It's got a great attack. It's got great durability with the armor 5. White surgeon defense doesn't break till late in its pull. Right. It's got a very good line of sight because it's so big. It can see over things really nicely. It's got great impact for other vehicles. Arguably one of the best in the game. Right. I mean, it's just
Chewie in an ATSC is the only thing that beats it.
So that's about it. Also, still an ATST.
Yep.
Okay. So I think we both agree he's gonna go there.
So there's your shores if you want to grab them.
Where's my shores? Right here?
Yep, that's the short trooper.
Short trooper. Let's finish this off. I think they're going to go somewhere in C.
I think they're above the mortar because obviously you need to bring them with the mortar.
I think Imperial March and the point decrease on them.
And then Dug-In. Dug-In can make them very survivable.
You have the option of Dug-In or...
But Dug-In still leaves them sitting in your deployment zone the whole time with order control, so it makes it very hard. I mean, Dug-In could be good, but it's also very situational. And
I like the new combo with them and how cheap they made the Super Squad with the Imperial March. You can move them faster when you need to, and they still have a lot of black dice coming at you.
Yeah, they could. So, they could potentially.
I'm saying C above mortar for now.
C above mortar seems
okay. That's where we're going. Let's do it
for sure.
Next, we'll grab. I know it's a picture of Mando and Boba, but just Mando for this faction. So Mando doesn't get Grogu in the Empire, which a lot of people don't bring Grogu. I like Grogu because of the extra health alone, but I get it. I get the argument. Where does Mando go? I think ever since 2.6, Mando got a huge lift.
Mando did get a huge lift. For some reason, in my silly reptile brain, Mando is a good guy, so
you
never play him on the Empire.
I don't know why, guys. I tell him to all the time.
I should and I need to. I just don't.
He doesn't. It's
but
true.
I think he lives happily in A tier.
I agree. I'm going to say above an ATST, personally. And I'll tell you why. Not because he can kill things better, which I kill a lot of things. He's so fast.
He's so fast.
He's so durable. And when you need to, he's got his flamethrower. He's got his either his gun or his spear and his knife and his other gun. So, I mean, he can bring the melee pain. He can bring a decent amount of range 2-ish 1 pain.
Somebody in our last video said you can new ways to motivate him with Vader for a turn and take a 1 wound to give him a whole extra action, which can be
also have bounty.
Bonkers. And so he can happily live there. He's not broken. He is a happy guy.
No, S is broken. We're not putting him in S.
Yep.
Okay, next let's go with a unit we're not seeing a ton of lately, which is going to be the Operative Vader. I feel like Operative Vader we don't see much anymore. We see Commander Vader all the time.
Yeah, it's hard now with the Commander slots that we have. Yep. I think he might get a little boost once we get those generics that we can start throwing in. A lot of people are using Operative Kallus as an Operative with the courage boost.
So where do we put Operative Vader?
I think he can be above Storms in B.
You're still putting him in B above Storms, okay?
I don't think he. I mean, he's still amazing.
Yeah, I think he's still good. I just think he's outshined. And with that, I'm not saying Storms are better. Just the utility in the army and the way you're building lists nowadays. I put him towards the bottom of B. But for now, let's keep him there. I can hear the argument. I want to hear how we talk through more. So we'll keep him there. Let's stay in the operative tier for a little. Let's talk about the Inquisitors. We're gonna package them together.
Well, I mean, we have both.
You brought me both pictures.
You fixed it.
Okay, so we got this one first. This is the sister, I believe.
I believe that's the sister.
Yes, sister. It's hard to see on our screen here. Okay, so the sister. Where does the sister go? Not A.
No,
for sure.
she. I think she's probably high C.
High C, above Shores.
Yeah, I would take her over Ashore because at least in the Range 2 world, she's doing a little bit more.
Okay.
She does live a little bit. I mean, she has the same health as brother, but she generally...
Let's talk about them together. And while we're talking, I think the brother's better than her.
Really?
I do.
Interesting.
I think the brother's a little better. I think that's also why like he's never gotten any like... I don't know. I think the brother's a little better. And that's because he's got Ram.
He just dies for me so fast.
He does. So... But I'm going to let you do the first thing. So you're saying below her, obviously, by your surprise face.
I would take sister over... The problem is you take them together. If you're bringing one, you're bringing both.
Let's talk about them together.
But I think sister is better than
If you
brother.
only had to take one.
If I was only taking one, I would still probably take sister.
Okay, so let's put him above Shores in mortar still?
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Let's keep him there. Why not? Let's stay in this. Let's go OG Boba Fett. Empire.
Boba.
He got a little love over the years, got a little increase, got extra dice. He's still fast. He's still impervious. He's still sharpshooter too. He brings the pain. Doesn't have a huge dice pool, but very mobile like Din, but not a melee threat at all like Din.
Not a melee threat.
He's got a flamethrower.
Which kind of makes him... He's worse than Din for sure.
I agree. I don't think he's an A tier.
I don't think he's A tier. I think I would take him over Op Vader because he gives you more flexibility than Op Vader. But it's kind of a weird place for me.
So you're saying he's above Riots, Snows, Storms, and Op Vader right now. So you're saying high B for now.
Yeah, I would say he's high B because
I'm
he's so
Don
fast.
kind of dictate. We'll kind of move things around at the end if we need to. Okay.
We might have to move some of that around. It'll be interesting.
Bosk, another operative slot. Empire has a lot of operatives too.
Yeah, that hurts the Empire because we have such a flush operative slot. Bosk is cheap, and Bosk can hit really, really hard.
Yeah, he's mostly got some durability issue. He's got regen, but the white dice, if something heavily focuses fires, he can go down easy. I think I've, unfortunately, maybe one-shot him a time or two with some sleepers and some bad batches and some arcs.
Yeah,
but...
he also suffers from that. His gun is also 3 to 4. So in the Range 2 world, he's not great.
I'm thinking somewhere either low B, high C is what my brain's telling me. But I want to hear what you agree. Where between those two would you stick him for now?
I would probably put him above, maybe above the Riots, like maybe between the Riots and the Snows.
Okay, that's fine. I like that for now. Okay, and now we get to.
I forgot to separate the droids.
You didn't separate the droids though, sir, because those are going to be very different.
Yeah. We do have 2 droids though, so we got IG-11. So we can make this one 88, and the other one we'll make 11.
This one is the true 88.
Yeah.
So 88's the better of the two for the Emperor.
For sure.
For the Empire. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like 11. He got that Pierce 2, which is really rare for shooting Pierce 2. But dice pull, killing things, getting bounties. I think IG does it better.
IG does it better.
I think IG is better than Bosk personally.
I think he's better than Bosk for sure.
I don't think he's better than Op Vader or Boba.
Okay, that's fair.
But what do you think?
I agree.
Okay, and the reason I'm saying Vader's Vader, but like Boba has the mobility to still move around everything.
He's very fast.
He's got the better sharpshooter. He's got the flamethrower, so if he needs to kill a big unit, he can. So for that reason, I think IG lives at B. Remember, B's good, guys. B's above average. You're good. We're not saying bad. Okay, next up, let's go with the other robot. So this double pack's going to be 11. 11, I think, is going to be somewhere in C.
Yep.
And I'm probably going to put him. My gut says below Inquisitors, above Shores for now. But what do you say?
That's a fair place for him.
Is that where you would put him?
The problem with IG-88 being so much better than 11 in the Empire Army is I would almost never take him. If I'm going to bring an IG, I'm going to bring 88.
88, yeah.
So I don't know that. Like I would bring Shores probably before I bring.
Okay.
11.
What about a mortar?
Let's stick him between Shores and a mortar.
Short or mortar for now. Okay. Now let's move into. Let's go with Commander Vader. I think he goes somewhere up here.
I think he's the best commander the Empire has.
I think
I mean, Iden gives him a run for his money.
I'm going to put Vader, and you can tell me what you think. High A, and probably might be the highest A on this list. We'll see when we're done, because multiple reasons. One, he hits like a brick, right?
Hits like a brick.
Two, he's got infinite courage, so his courage bubble, as long as you're within that range,
right,
you don't panic ever.
Ever.
You just can't. He's got Compel, right?
He does have Compel course,
which is nice. He's getting a little more love for the core troopers. Implacable, great card. Suppression bombing, great card.
Right. Newest motivate them.
Motivate them on Dewbacks and such, great card.
Yeah.
So yeah, he goes high A.
He's definitely there.
I think he's one of the best commanders in the game currently, and I think he just does a lot. And over the years, giving them the Compel Trooper, he's done more and more for the trooper units.
Right.
He's slow, but burst speed fixed that issue. So you usually only need that one turn to go really, really quick, and then you're kind of in it to win it.
Plus with the infiltrate with his command card.
Infiltrate with the command card's very nice. Yep. I agree. His one lackluster thing is probably he doesn't surge. And you have bad luck sometimes, but with red dice, it doesn't hurt as much as like a black or white because there's not as many blinks.
It always ends up being 5 for me instead of 6.
I know.
It always ends up being 5 instead of 6.
Okay, yeah. Well, it happens. Let's talk about Veers. Veers, I think, is interesting right now because Veers is not as good nor as expensive as Vader or Iden.
Mm-hmm.
But Krennic is also cheaper than him, too. Doesn't do as much support for the army, but... So I don't know where to put Veers. I definitely don't think he's A tier.
No, I don't think so.
I definitely don't think he's D tier though.
I think he's B tier because obviously the lack of commanders means you're gonna have to consider him pretty easily. If you're bringing one of our A tier ATSTs, you love having Veers because of that guidance vehicle.
Yep, and
that is amazing.
I think that brought him probably from what I would have put him like mid to low C, probably somewhere in the B range now.
Right. I think he's mid B.
So we're saying like mid B would be about here, above Storms, below IG, or would you go lower?
Interesting. I would probably put him below the Storms. I would put him right there.
And remember, guys, we're not saying if you could only have one Storm or one Veers, what would you want? It's more of a question in your army building.
Right.
What units do you find more valuable? So obviously Storms, when we're talking about Storms or any core, you always got to contemplate, I can bring more than one. Yeah. I can't bring more than one Veer. So there's always weighing in that.
But I think, the cost and that the guidance vehicle is just silly.
Let's talk about Krennic, because Krennic is so cheap.
Krennic's cheapness puts him really high B.
I think it's because of the cheapness is why
it's because of the cheapness.
He's got Entourage, Death Troopers.
Death Troopers is really great.
Yep, he's got some decent command cards.
He also has Compel, which is super good still.
Yep.
He's got Courage too, which is low for the Empire. I know you're a Rebel player and you're used to that nonsense.
I mean, Veers also has Courage too.
We like 3.
Is he better or worse than Veers, would you say?
He's definitely better than Veers.
You think he's better than Veers?
I would put him over the Storms even because...
Okay. So you're putting him right here.
He is so easy to take as your second commander right now.
Yeah.
That it's...
Now, obviously, if you're running double ATSTs, you would never take Krennic over Veers.
Right. I mean,
but just in general,
specific, but generally, I think he's right there.
Okay. Let's keep the commander train going. Let's talk about Moff Gideon, who I think is probably, sadly, even though he's one of my favorites, I think he might be the low end of the commanders at the moment.
He for sure is.
Okay. We agree on that. And the issue with him though is his cost to what he brings.
Right.
Is issue now if Darks in the future come down a whole bunch of points and get stuff.
If Darks become good again, he can come up, but his pairing of Darks is bad.
He still surges the block. Mm-hmm. He still has a Darksaber. He still has tacticals when he moves. He's getting aims, right? He still has relentless turn with the 1 pip. He still has a good commander. He's got that ruthlessness, which is really fun to do. Especially in the big units, you can sacrifice one shore and get them to shoot again or whatever. So that's a fun combo. So I'm thinking C tier, and I'm thinking kind of the higher end of the C tier. But you tell me what you're thinking.
That's fair because he's still a commander, so that's going for him. He still has that Mando armor, red surging defense. You throw the Darksaber at him, he gets demoralized with courage, or with suppression being an issue. He happily lives in that melee to range 2 bubble without a problem. So I think high C is totally fine.
He does. And then which one is Iden down here?
Iden is right there.
There she is. Okay, yeah. Iden. Let's talk about Iden, Commander. She's somewhere in A. I think that's easy, right? Mm-hmm. Do you agree before I just assume?
Yeah, I think if this game wasn't melee to range 2, she would be S.
Ooh, you would put her that high, huh?
Because she's just, in a range game, you can't beat her. And her command cards, she's just amazing.
Oh, her attack strike command is really good.
Her Inferno Squadron boosts. It's.
I think the reason that I'm, in my mind, keeping her from a high A is a couple things. One is she's not going to melee.
She's not great.
Which you don't have to be melee. You can still get points not be melee. I get that. But she's not going to melee. Also, I think with ISFs and Inferno not being as good as probably I think they should be in my head, that hurts her a little bit because when you want to bring them. So I'm thinking mid to low A. So right now I would say I would put her somewhere back here on A. But where would you put her? We want
I
to do
would
you
still
first.
put her ahead of the ATST. But
What about Mando?
it's hard because Mando is just living that range 2 life as
And
a happy
speed
guy.
3.
So I think we can leave her right there.
We'll put her there for now. Okay, I like that. Now let's talk about the Imperial Special Forces. This is the regular ones, right? This card.
That's the regular special
Okay, so these are the regular Special Forces, which are going to be somewhere down here.
Yeah, I mean, they're like 2 points cheaper than a Death Trooper, and they're nowhere near as good. I mean, they have Infiltrate, which is great. Their dice pool is not as good. They don't surge to defense.
They're squishy compared to Death Troopers.
Comparatively squishy.
So we're seeing low C, or are we putting them down to like they're not even good D tier?
I mean, I can't.
What did your gut tell you?
I would put them in D tier only because I will I only ever bring them on the channel because we have to.
We'll put them there. I put them in low C, but I don't think there's a bad argument for high D either. Okay, that's where they're going to live. So let's grab Inferno. I think Inferno bumps way up.
Inferno bumps way up because they go with Iden so well.
They also have
retinue.
marksmen like the ISFs, but with the retinue being able to get more tokens, especially if you have Krennic or not Krennic, but like Krennic is Exemplar, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, some Exemplar there, you're fine. Right. So
you also get Repair 2. So if you throw a vehicle out there, Del can put 2 health back on.
You have direct core as well.
Gideon gives you direct or coordinate because you need to give him an order to get an order to a core. They have retinue. I think they're...
So if the other one was in D, is this one bumped up to C, or are you bumping it 2 runs up to B?
So the only reason I'm putting them, I think, low B is because Iden is in A, and when you bring Iden, you're bringing them, and they're just going to perform well because they're with Iden, with Tac Strike, with retinue.
I think my biggest issue to keep them out of C is that they are relatively small dice pool for their point cost compared to other things that you could bring. Mm-hmm. And they're not a speed 3 either, so they're not grabbing things like crazy. Infiltrate helps a ton to get them where they want to go. So I was going to put high C, but we'll go low B for now.
Okay.
We'll go low B. I think that's fine.
B's a crowded tier for the Empire.
It is. Let's talk about the Kallus after his big rework. He's so cheap. And you can put Inspiring Presence on him, and he can be like a pseudo second commander
for you, which is really great.
And cheap, too. But he also has really good command cards. Stopping your opponent from playing the one pip when you know it's coming the next turn is huge.
Yeah, I've watched
gave him bounty, too, which is good.
Yeah, I've watched some games where he generally just dies, but that's because I still haven't quite gotten the knack of playing him correctly. But I think he does it really well when he's not going up against your big melee user.
Yeah.
I think he's high B. Like, he's so easy to bring because he's so cheap.
And when you say high B, are we saying the highest B? Somewhere in the top B?
I think he's the highest B.
Okay, that's fair.
Because, like...
I could understand the argument to make him a low A, too. Because he's so cheap and he can...
I think the only thing that's keeping him out of A is because he's not going to be, like, winning a game for you. He's not out there blowing down units or anything. He's reliable. He's doing a lot of work. He's getting good command cards. He's giving you a courage bubble. And he's giving you that extra activation.
Sure. Let's switch to a unit I think is going to be in the A tier at least. Let's go with the Scout Troopers.
Yeah,
Scout Troopers with the Sonic and with Frag Grenade, the range 1, they hit like a brick.
Yeah, they're almost Black Sun level of hitting at that point.
And they're still well under 90 points.
Well
points,
under,
right?
yeah,
Aren't they
well
like
under 90
70
points
something with the frag? I think.
They have low profile, so they have a little bit of survivability. That's Scout 3. I think they happily live at the bottom of A tier.
Especially since that range 2 bubble is kind of where the game lives.
The range 2.
I agree. A tier is where they go. Range Troopers, interesting enough, not this last point update, but the one back in April, they got a point increase.
Yeah,
which I don't think was warranted at all. So I think with the point increase and all the other options you have going on in this army, I don't think they're in B. I think they're either low C or I don't think they're D because they still have that free aim. They still have armor.
They still can shoot. They're slow-ish unless you spur them a lot, but I think they live in the low C pretty easily.
I think they're above a mortar.
They're above a mortar.
Are they above IG 11? I think so.
Above IG, yeah.
But below a shore?
Yeah, that's a good place.
I think that's where they live. Yeah. Okay. Dark Troopers.
Yeah, you can just drop them in the bin, man.
Don is not a Dark Trooper fan anymore, guys. He used to love them. He brought them to Worlds years ago and stuff. Oh man, I don't know if I want to put them in D. You're saying D?
I'm saying D. Okay. They can be high D, but
right now they're really good poop, guys.
They're like they can hold a point like a boss.
They do need a point drop, or we talked about this in one of our recent videos. A point drop or some rework, whether it's giving them infiltrate like the Aquas because they jetpack down, or at least some scouts or prepared positions, something to get them on the board to help them. And if you don't want to do that for some reason, because then it just takes a few turns to even get them going with needing to score, then you need to give them something similar to like an Imperial March or up their armor all the way again. I don't know. But I think they need a Scout 2 or 3 or an Infiltrator per position to get them to where they're going faster.
They really do, because right now they're at like a 200 point hold.
And 55 points for the Assault Cannon is just a lot of points for something with only armor 3 and can't benefit from cover, and you can only move once per activation. I know they get 2 turns.
They get 2 turns, but still, they just
I get
they don't hit for their point value at all.
I get it. Okay.
Unless you're Joe. But
okay, let's go with Death Troopers. Death Troopers are fun. Where do they live?
I mean, they are one of the best special forces we have, I think.
So you're saying, if you had to pick between a Death Trooper and a Scout Trooper, what would you pick? They pick the same slot, so which one would you pick? That will answer me a little bit of the question.
It's interesting because I want the Death Trooper, but when you're whittling down points and when you're looking for activations, you probably go with the Scout Trooper.
The Death Trooper is much more survivable.
Really yeah.
Red Surging Dice is always good. They have a long-range gun. They have a suppressive gun.
A lot of times you're bringing Krennic with you because he's a great second commander, and he entourages them. So you generally can easily throw...
So you're saying A, it sounds like.
I think I like him in A.
So, but back to the same question.
I think they're below the Scouts.
Below the Scouts.
Because the Scouts are so cheap and efficient and point costed.
That's fair. I can tell you.
Yeah.
Deal with that. Okay, let's go with the lovely Dewback.
You know, as me, they're at a different place in this list than all other Empire players.
So I think they deserve somewhere upper B.
That's a good place for
them. If not low A. I know Dewbacks can really do some work.
Especially because the Empire has lost, unless you're bringing a Saber user, you have Kallus, who's an okay melee.
So I'm saying they either go here or they go here.
I would put him in B, but I think that's my Dewback bias, and for me.
In the comments, if you're mad, it's all to him, because I say A tier. But
Dewbacks just are just the meltiest. They're like, for some reason, they roll white dice for me. I don't know why. They just die.
Let's go with the Gav Tank. Transport unit, interesting position. When you're in an army that has the ATST, and also has the LAT now with the cheaper and a...
Yeah, it is in an interesting spot. I'm trying to remember. I haven't played with it in so long, because whenever I think about playing with it is when we have Jared on the channel, and Jared loves to bring the tank.
He does.
It doesn't surge.
No, you have to bring the Hammers pilot.
If it surged offensively, it would be fun to have.
It's the same as ATST. You got to bring that pilot to get it.
But you can put the door gunner on it now, and it would be kind of cute.
Yeah, that would be decent.
It definitely is a great transport because it's got the huge base. It can potentially cover 2 points. It's not necessarily that expensive.
So are you saying it's average unit or above average? Let's start there.
It's a happy average unit.
Okay, so where in the C rank we going? Like, we got Inquisitors, Moff towards the top. The bottom we have the Mortar and IG towards the bottom. Where do you think he would fit?
Let's put him above the range. Let's put him between ranges and shore troopers.
Okay, he's gonna live.
I think the
middle average, not bad.
The problem
average.
is like the heavy slot right now. It's not something you're always like, I'm going to take a heavy.
Well, let's stay in the heavy slot. Let's go with the LAT. The LAT got a point decrease, got some door gunners. Of the LATs, it's the best LAT because it has the TIE Fighter pilot option, so you can make it move if you need to.
Speed 3.
Which is really nice. I still think it's a C tier. I don't think it's anything higher, but you tell me what you think.
I would put it above the... I don't know if it goes above the shores or just above the Gav tank. I think it's better than the Gav tank because it gives you a little more flexibility.
Okay.
But...
I don't know if I think it's better than the Gav tank, but I can understand the argument.
I think I like it for the speed, because, I mean, the Gav tank can get somewhere and sit, but the LAT can get somewhere and go somewhere else if it needs to.
Sure, yeah. No, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. So, yeah, we're going to put the LAT there. I know there was a request last time to show you guys each unit stat card as we're going through this. If you want to see all the unit stat cards, feel free to pull them up. I just didn't want to overcrowd the screen with so much information.
Right.
So we're just talking about the units high level. Speeder bikes. They got a point decrease, and they also got striking fade.
They got a point decrease in striking fade, and I actually like striking fade a lot.
You would have put them in D tier before.
I would have put them in D tier.
I know you would have. Before. Are they bump up to C's now?
They are a C tier.
Where in the C tier?
I think I would put them even above the shores because they have a little more flexibility. They still are going to die really quick, but striking fade lets you make them more survivable by giving you some movement after you shoot, or you can do like a move, double move, shoot, move. There's a lot of weird options now with striking fade that makes them much better.
Okay.
They still are, paper thin. I mean, they do surge defensively and they have light cover, but
Yeah.
once they're in the soup of it, they go down.
I think of all the speeders in the game, so like them, the bark, the staps, and the swoops, they're the best speeder.
Absolutely the best speeder.
I think they
Yep.
are. So okay, we'll keep them there. Now that we saved the best for last, dude. The E-Web.
The E-Web, absolutely the best.
Where'd you put E-Web?
I think the E-Web actually does do a lot more now.
This is what I'm thinking right now, but
Really?
I want to hear what you're thinking. I'm not. I don't play Empire, so that's why I'm letting you put it there. But just from playing against it in this new ways, seeing what it can do, I think it's better. I think before it was down here somewhere.
Yeah.
Now I think I could see it rocking a C, but I think of all the support options, like okay, I can take an E-Web or I can take a Dewback. I could take an E-Web or I can take range troopers. I can take an E. Like,
yeah, it's an interesting.
It's my issue.
It's a slot issue. It's a if it
Like,
it
is
only
the
has
E-Web
4
better
health.
than Dewbacks?
No.
Is the E-Web better than range troopers?
No.
Is the E-Web better than speeder bikes?
Mm.
Well, so just off that alone, it has to be minimum here,
Yeah.
if not worse. So,
Yeah, I guess it could. I could put it in high D. It's definitely better than a Dark Trooper.
Okay, high D. Okay, so this is our ranking currently. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we're missing anybody, are we? I think that's everything.
So there is no S tier Empire unit.
I don't think there is.
I
I think the
think
closest
that's
argument
right.
is Vader.
Yeah.
I think ideally there should be no S tiers in any faction,
I mean, ideally,
right? And I think
but because other factions have S tier,
I think
kind of.
well, I don't think there is anymore in Rebel. I think the only
Yeah,
one we
Rebels
gave
lost
Rebel
their sleeper.
was Sleeper, and I think Sleepers are still A.
They're still high
I think
A.
I would put mid A from the
really?
in the Rebel army, but I still think they're very good. I still think they're by far the best special
Yeah.
forces Rebel have, but I don't think there's an S anymore in that army.
Yeah.
And arguably, I'll let you know when we get to that video. I have to play with them a few more times, but I think Arcs fell to S, and now they're an A as well with the point increase now.
Interesting. I wonder
They're
if
still
there's any-
very good, and I think that's what an A is, right? A is very good, but I don't think they're broken anymore.
Right.
And I might be in the minority here. I think after the last point increase, they probably bumped out of S to the very high A tier for Republic. But either way, I
That's
think they're
fair.
definitely
We'll
out of S
see.
now.
Yeah.
I think the only faction maybe, arguably, with an S right now would be Aqua Droids in the CIS faction right now. I think they are extremely good for their points. I don't think there's anything like them.
They didn't get touched in this last
Not yet.
upgrade.
I think that's just my opinion playing against them so much. The way they block line of sight, the way their points are, the way they get to infiltrate and shoot right away with their guns, their armor, keep going on. Their impact.
They're everything that the Dark Troopers should be.
Yeah.
But they're not.
They're only white dice, but they have more health. You know what I mean? Like so, and
Yeah.
there's more. I don't know. I think they're probably the only real like. I think there's tons of A. Remember, A is extremely good, best in the army, but S is a little bit broken. I think the Aquas have to come down on points, and that seemed to be a lot of the community was disagreeing when they weren't touched this last one. So we'll see what they are in November. But yeah, so I don't think the Empire has an S. I think you could argue that Vader is very close to that line. I think he's the only, even if you go to the next A, Mando, and I don't think they're anywhere near S. But Commander Vader, and it's really, part of that has to do with having a Courage Infinity unit. Like, just thinking unlimited Courage unit on Rebels would be so amazing. Because Rebels, unless you bring a Luke Skywalker or something...
Yeah, you don't get that courage.
You don't get that courage. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who did... you put him up there, but we didn't talk about Cad. This is Cad. I don't know who we thought that was.
Oh.
But that's Cad.
Who do we think that was?
I don't remember who we thought that was now.
Okay, Cad. Where's Cad going?
I think he can live down in the D tier too, though.
Ooh.
He is too squishy to live.
So who did we
live.
miss and who do we think that was?
I don't remember.
Okay, maybe I put him up there in accident.
I guess we'll have to watch.
The comments will
and
tell us
see.
when we edit it. But yeah, so where in D though? Is he above an E-Web, above Dark Trooper?
I mean, he can be high D because he's got Bounty. He has Pierce. He has cute command cards, but man, does he just go down in most situations so fast.
Okay, I think that you might get some comments like I did with Op Luke in their last video, but this is all Don. I'm letting Don run this one.
I mean, what do you think he is?
I put him in C.
You would put him in C?
I think he has some cool tricks and some utility with that steady, and you've won a couple of games by chasing things with him before in the past. But I don't think he's anywhere near the best C, so he's fine there. Okay, so here's our list. Boo, here we go.
Yeah. Woo.
From our last video, our biggest miss before the points update, according to the comments, was Op Luke. I put Op Luke in, I don't remember, B, C, something like that.
You probably put him in C.
Got a lot of hate for that. I still stand by my decision of putting him where I put him. Still do. Especially, I put him there even more so now with Ahsoka coming down 40 points.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So now you can put Force Push on her, and she is still cheaper than just a naked Op Luke.
Yeah.
So with that, I know he has some cool tricks. I think on high level players who are very good to begin with, he's a very good unit. On anyone who's average playing or below, I think he is a gamble because if you don't play him great, and at his cost, he affects the out army so much, and he doesn't give anything to the army at large, right?
Yeah.
So that's why. But this is an Empire video, so I'll start talking about him. So I think if I was to look at your list that you kind of landed on it, and what would I change? I think I put Iden towards the bottom of A.
Okay.
That's the first thing I would do, just all the way to the bottom of A. And that's because where the range game lives now, I think she's fallen off a little bit. I still think she's A tier, guys. Like, really good, but I think she's not high A. I also would probably put Deaths above Scouts. Scouts can do more damage for sure, but I think Deaths have that lasting presence. And when you switch to their config with the 2 white dice, or what is it, the range 2 gun, whatever it is.
The range 2
yeah,
on the
not
card.
the config. The 2 white dice, and if you brought the DLT with it, with their surging and Pierce 2, or Precise 2, I mean, oof.
Yeah.
It's just nasty.
Yeah, for me, I just never...
It's fair.
They never make it there to me.
I also would bump Dewbacks to low A.
Interesting.
I put Dewbacks, and I put Inferno down to C. That's the biggest things I see. And I'd also flop Brother and Sister. I think I'd put Sister 2 rungs below Brother, actually. I'd have Brother, and then I'd have Speeders, Shores, Sister. I'd have the Tank, then the Lat, and then Range, 11. I put the Mortar down in high D, and I put Cad up to C.
I would imagine there's a lot of people that would agree with you. I just have a lot of bias in what works for me.
You play it way more, so I'm taking your opinion over mine. I just play against you enough, and against many other... I mean, in a long time, for a very long time, our community was a lot of Empire players. It was. So I played against a lot of Empire players.
You were the only Rebel for a very long time.
Yes. It was a lot of white dice on this slide. But yeah, so I think that's where I would land my tier list.
Yeah, those are some probably fair tiers. And
I think it's
the best part about this is all the people that disagree in the comments are just going to boost this video.
Yeah, please. Agree, disagree.
Away.
Actually, if you want all the entries, if you're watching this on YouTube, that we give away for the current cup, which is going to be the core set, the Rex, the Dooku, and the token, just comment below to get entered. Please, for double entries, give me your opinion of, like, yes, you hit it on the head. You almost hit it, but you missed on blah, blah, blah. Or Don's crazy. Cad's not D. Or whatever you want to put in the comments that will give you double entries when you give us just a little feedback of where you think your list would be differently. Some of the units that I agree with, I do think just out of your options at Special Force, I do think the ISFs are probably one of the bottom tier of the Empire. And it's not because they're just a terrible unit, like you have them in the lowest tier possible. It's just because they're very subpar to begin with for their points and their health, but then you're looking at like Scouts are cheaper.
That's true.
Deaths are what, 2 points more? You said?
Yeah. Well, then regular ISF.
Yeah, regular ISF. I'm talking about, not Inferno. So I'm like, ISFs go down there, and then like range troopers going up in points was interesting. I thought they needed to come down a little bit.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
range 4 slow units don't do a whole lot.
Yeah,
I mean, you can spur them.
You can spur them, which is huge.
But if you spur them twice, they are already almost panicked.
Yeah, they're suppressed. But yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's what I would do. I'm not sold on the Lat still, even after its point decrease. I don't know. I think that thing needs a surge or something. I don't know. It's missing something.
If it surged, it would be a beast.
It would be a beast. You're right.
It would be a beast.
But I just feel like it's lacking something still.
It could use like a base critical.
I love that they went down in points when you bring your shells. You're not really paying anything for them now, in essence, right?
Right.
But yeah, that's where I kind of would have them live in that tier, and I think that's their best bet.
Yeah.
Let us know below what you guys think, where you would put these things, and where you would want them to go, and we'll get you some double entries into our cup giveaways. Sure. And until next time, we'll do either Republic or Separatist next in these tier list videos. They're fun for us to do, and you guys seem to like them. So let us know what you want to hear from next, whether you want to see Separatist or Republic next in the tier list, and we'll get it out to you.
All right.
So next time, I'm Joe.
I'm Don.
You guys have a good night.
Bye.